We are just a couple of weeks away from the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favourite shows of the year. But while speculating who may win the Women's Royal Rumble, a big question that we like to ask as well is who will return in the match? Who will be the surprises? That's what I'm going to focus on here today. I'm going to go through a host of speculation names, throw them all out there. I'm going to give my rating between 1 and 10, the likelihood of them, and at the end of this video, I'll give you my top 5 picks of who I think will be most likely to go into the Women's Royal Rumble in 2024. Quick disclaimer, not every name will be featured in the Royal Rumble in 2024. This is mere speculation only, so please keep that in mind when watching this video. Otherwise, you probably have half of the field made up with just these names alone. So let's not waste any time. Talk about potentially the biggest return, someone that's injured right now, someone that could come back for the Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has got every reason to want to come back and win the Royal Rumble match. Of course, Rhea Ripley put her on the shelf, and Rhea currently holds the Women's World Championship. It writes itself, doesn't it? And Liv Morgan was in the Royal Rumble match with Rhea Ripley last year. They were both 1 and 2, and of course, well, they were the final 2 as well in the Rumble match. Of course, Rhea making history, of course, of being the number 1 and winning, but also having the longest time in the match. Well, Liv Morgan would have had that as well had she not been eliminated. So everything ticks the boxes here for a Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan rivalry. If Liv Morgan does come back for the Royal Rumble, certainly will be a big pop. She's a heavy favourite with the crowd as well, and like I say, the storyline direction narrative writes itself. But would she win the match? That's also a big question mark you could have at this point. All depends if she's fit, healthy and good to go, but I'm going to speculate that she is. I'm going to say that she's going to be an 8 out of 10 likelihood to appear in the Royal Rumble match. Another name on the injured list, someone to keep an eye out for, not sure of her time frame of return. Sonia DeVille would be a great return for the Royal Rumble. Sonia is someone that, for me, has been waiting for that big breakout moment in WWE. At this particular moment, she did have a tag team started with Chelsea Green that obviously didn't have a chance to get going. Of course, they won the tag team titles. Sonia got injured. Piper Niven took the spot. So if Sonia could come back, that could be a fun, interaction with that trio in the Rumble match. But like I say, it's to know whether DeVille is ready and good to go or not, and as I'm unaware of anything with regards to that at this point, I have to say a 5 out of 10 likelihood of that it will happen. No need to thank me with the next one, Trish Stratus, because, well, Trish, she was written off TV after WWE Payback last year. Of course, the classic steel cage with Becky Lynch. Of course, Zoe Stark turned on her after the match. Could Trish return in the Rumble? Perhaps maybe have a new protege, perhaps maybe to go after Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. Time will tell. Maybe it'll be a singles program between Stark and Trish on the road to WrestleMania. For me, I think this will be fun. I'd like to see Trish come back. I think she's been awesome in the most recent run in WWE. She's appeared in quite a few of the Rumbles previously. She's a legend also, so that ties in nicely with some of the next ones we'll be talking about of potential returns. So I hope this one happens. I'm going to say a 7 out of 10 likelihood, and like I say, it is hope backing this as well as expectation. Let's move on to comebacks. Someone that's outside of the company right now, in fact about to perform for TNA on their Hard to Kill show. Of course, Trinity, aka better known to WWE fans as Naomi. She's expected to tie up her commitments with Impact Wrestling, or should I say now TNA, very, very shortly, which opens the path a return to WWE. Her husband Jimmy Uso is still in the company as well. It feels like the right time for Naomi to come home, and of course she's always known for great spots in a Women's Royal Rumble match, so it's naturally the best place for her to return, in my opinion. To hear the glow, to hear that music once again, I think would get people rocking, to be honest, in the stadium of Tropicana Field. So for me, hoping this happens, half expecting it to happen as well. I'm going to go as strong as a 7 out of 10. Personally, I'm tempted though to even go an 8. Of course, when she left the company though back in May 2022, she had a tag team partner who currently, at the time of recording, still was a free agent. That's right, Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné. Rumours are speculating that perhaps she's AEW bound, that she's not going to be going to WWE at this particular time. But until pen is put to paper, or in my opinion, till the face is on the screen, she's still open to speculation at this moment. Look, let's be honest. Everyone said CM Punk would not return to WWE. Every dirt sheet and every person out there said, look, there's no chance Punk is going back. Late in the day, a deal was signed and Punk returned at Survivor Series in Chicago. What's to say Sasha Banks does not return to WWE, Bayley is kicked out of Damage Control, Sasha and, let's say, Naomi, the previous entrant, are not the backup for Bayley going into WrestleMania season against Damage Control. You can build up as perhaps for the Women's Championship, perhaps even the Women's Tag Team Championship. Obviously, I think Sasha Naomi would like a proper run with those Women's Tag Team titles if she was to return. Hey, she may even want to go for the main title. that's not for me to decide. But what I would say is that I think the storyline narrative is there and in place should she come back to WWE. Time will tell on this one. I'm going to say it's like a 3 out of 10 possibility of happening, but a part of me, deep down where I really want it, a part of me might go higher than 3. 3 is what the head says, the heart says about a 7 out of 10. So let's go then into potential legends that could appear in, and a free agent at this moment as well. Mickie James could be someone that could appear in the Royal Rumble match. Of course, she's married to SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis. She did appear in the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago as Impact Knockouts champion. I'd love to hear Hardcore Country one more time in WWE during the Royal Rumble match. She's a fantastic in-ring performer as well. Would love to see her in the Rumble again. Love to see her appear in WWE, to be fair. This is something I hope happens. I'm going to say a 6 out of 10. I think the ties are there. The fact she's a free agent certainly ticks all the boxes. Another one that could tick all the boxes, and this one would definitely would get a lot of people talking. AJ Lee, of course, the wife of none other than CM Punk. If CM Punk is back and returning in the Royal Rumble match, why not AJ Lee have a cameo in the Women's Royal Rumble match? Imagine, like, say for example, Becky Lynch was number 1 and AJ Lee was number 2. How fun would that be to kick off the Women's Royal Rumble match? I think that would be absolutely awesome. For me, again, it's hope, perhaps more than expectation at this point, but certainly I think this would be the year, if AJ was ever to come back to a wrestling ring and ever to appear in the Royal Rumble, I think this is the year. So for me, I'm going to say a 6 out of 10. And again, it could be more hope than expectation, but this is one I really want to see happen. How about AJ Lee's friend Caitlyn, by the way? She could be another one that could be a shout for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Last seen in WWE, taking part in the Mae Young Classic, of course, a few years ago. I think she could be a fun cameo. Of course, she had her time on the main roster as well. So I think, you know, being good friends with AJ Lee could be a backup if needed at some point in the Rumble match. I think Caitlyn would be a great shout. Again, I'm not sure if it will happen. I'm going to say 5 out of 10, but certainly it's another name to keep an eye out for. So for the rest of the entrance, basically, NXT is going to be the shout. If you're a fan of NXT, this is going to be the place for you because, well, there's a lot of rising talents in NXT right now that could be perfect to get some exposure in the Women's Royal Rumble. The first name we're going to talk about is Tiffany Stratton. Someone had a great run as NXT Women's Champion last year, had a great program with Becky Lynch, 2 fantastic matches that really put her on the map. If you want to continue to expose her to a more national audience, if you will, bring her onto the main rosters. She's been in the crowds of Raws and SmackDowns. Well, how about a performance in the Royal Rumble match? Tiffy Time has got the character now down to a T. Her in-ring work is improving each and every time she goes out there. So for me, I think she's ready for a Royal Rumble spot, and I think she'd actually do pretty well in the match as well. I feel very strong that she's going to be a part of this match. I'm actually going to go as high as a 9 out of 10 of expectancy. I think Roxanne Perez you could expect as well. She was in last year's Royal Rumble match as well, and she did quite a good performance as well in that Royal Rumble match. I would expect her to be included once again. Hopefully, she can continue to get that exposure. And of course, again, she's main roster ready. It's just when, not if, with her. She's been NXT Women's Champion already, so it's a good platform to bring her in front of the mainstream audience to, you know, say who's coming up after WrestleMania. Roxanne Perez. So for me, I expect her to see her there. Going to go for an 8 out of 10. Cora Jade has just returned to WWE. They expect she will be the next Sasha Banks. Perhaps maybe she's looking to be the first Cora Jade. But at the same time, Cora looks like she's got a big future ahead of her. I think that she probably likely is going to become an NXT Women's Champion in 2024. So don't expect her to go to the main roster, but certainly to get a cameo in the Royal Rumble could be pretty sweet. So I think she could be appearing there. And personally, I'm going to say that this one, I'm going to say could be a 6 out of 10. Next, let's talk about the NXT Women's Champion, Lia Valkyria, having great performances, won the championship from Becky Lynch. Her name is high stock right now in the NXT locker room, and usually WWE likes to expose the champions in Royal Rumble matches with the NXT brand, so I think she could be someone that could come in early into the match, actually be in there for about 20-25 minutes, have a good performance. I think that'd be great for her as well. I can see her being a part of this match, and again, like I said with Tiffany and Roxanne, I think this is a high possibility she could be there. I will go for an 8 out of 10. A name that WWE is rumoured to be very high on is Gigi Dolan. Not doing so much currently in NXT. She's rivaling, I think, at this particular moment with Cora Jade. I think could have a potential breakout moment in the Royal Rumble should she be given the opportunity. I personally would like to see it because I do think currently without Toxic Attraction, there hasn't really been much direction for her since. Same with JC Jane, another one that could be included into this Royal Rumble match. I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10 for her and actually for JC Jane at this particular moment. I think both could offer something to the Rumble match if WWE needs to fill up the numbers. Same for Blair Davenport as well, certainly a rising star on the NXT roster. She's, of course, rivaling currently with Nikita Lyons, someone that could be another shout for the Women's Royal Rumble match. For me personally, I think for Blair, again, I think you could say about me a 5 out of 10 possibility. She's just had the Iron Survivor Challenge win, of course, on NXT, and I think they're going to push her as one of the top stars in NXT for time to come. Nikita has the same possibility, but certainly has had that exposure for, I suppose, WWE gamers, if you want. She had a big injury last year, which ruled her out, but now that she's returned, I think they probably want to give her some exposure. I think she's a more likely name for the Women's Royal Rumble match, so I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10 for her, but potentially could squeak in as a 7. Of course, there's the NXT breakout star Lola Vice. She potentially could get that shot in the Royal Rumble. Of course, she's known in the MMA world as well, so I think would be a portion of the audience that would know who she is coming through the curtain, and potentially a good spot for her to go into the Royal Rumble match. It's just a nice way to introduce someone in. Again, the same as all the other names we've mentioned before, so let's see if she would be included in the match or not. The fact she's got the NXT breakout contract right now shows NXT is her future. I would expect her to remain there for the foreseeable. I see it as a 4 out of 10. But the last one I will mention, Meiko Satomura. I would love to see as part of the Royal Rumble match. I don't remember being in one previously. She's the final boss. She's a great run in the wrestling world over the last 30 years, of course, going all the way back to WCW for those that can remember that. She's had a great run as NXT UK Women's Champion, some great matches in NXT. Come on, give her a Royal Rumble appearance. I would love to see it, and personally, I think she would be treated like wrestling royalty in the Royal Rumble match as well, treated as a big deal, which I think would be great for, you know, the wrestling universe in 2024 to see Meiko at, you know, that big highlighted center stage. But of course, to give a vote out of 10 for that one, probably a 5 out of 10, but I want it to happen, let's be honest. So that's who I think will be potential returns or surprises for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who would you like to see return or be a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble match? And just a quick last name, I'll just throw it there. Julia is not possible, apparently. According to Sean Ross at Fightful Select, apparently as a name right now, she is not available till after WrestleMania. So that's why I've not included her in this list. But let me know names that you want to see in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe to the channel as well. We're in Royal Rumble season, plenty of videos coming on the channel with the Royal Rumble theme, and of course predictions will be around at the end of the month as well. But if you can't get enough and want to see more videos, then check out these on the side of your screen right now. Thank you for watching, take care, I'll see you for the next video.